Hey viewers, those of you who are familiar with my other videos know that most everything I post is backing videos for trucking or dash cam footage that of things I encountered during my trips. I don't have good video editing skills, but I would definitely love to get better at that. I'd also like to get into vlogging, and this load I'm under now is, I think, give me a good jumping off point for doing my first vlog, and also trying my hand at some of this video editing. So bear with me if this seems amateurish. Well, yeah, I am an amateur, so just let me know what you think of it. I'm currently in Jamestown, New Mexico, doing I just started a 10-hour break, and I'm under this load I picked up yesterday in Noel, Missouri. Interesting place to pick up from, or at least a trip to Noel. I started out our company's yard in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. The trip from Sapulpa to Noel is about 130 miles. Like taking I-44 up toward Joplin, then cutting down US 59 into the town of Grove, Oklahoma. From Grove, you take a series of state highways, 2-lane state highways from there into Noel. Noel itself is in southwest Missouri, not too far from both the Oklahoma and Arkansas borders. Just wanted to talk about some of the stuff I noticed, encountered while doing this trip. It wasn't just one of these average everything's going down the interstate or on major roads to get to the places. I got some footage here. It's gonna show you about the last 5 or so miles of the deadhead route over to the shipper, along with me checking in and dropping my trailer, as well as a Jim Palmer driver dropping his prime trailer, which I'm going to do a separate video of on that as well. This trip, let's see. I picked up at the Tyson chicken plant over there in Noel. Noel's a small town. Don't know much about it, but let's see. Now this the video you're gonna see here, it picks up on State Highway 90, just a few miles away from Noel. It only covers about the last 5 or so miles. I don't know exactly how close I was, but I got what my dash cam could actually record. I don't have a very big SD card in it right now. I need to get a bigger one, so I only get about maybe 20 minutes of footage on the camera before it runs out of space. So I have it sped up and put some music on there to play with it. Just let me know what you think of it all. On the way over there, the interesting things were going through Grove. Kind of a small town, I guess, a small city. Interesting little place though. They have like a Brahms, which I've been meaning to stop at sooner or later. We don't have those in Southern California where I live, as far as I know. A few other places there that just look like a nice little place that I wouldn't mind visiting again. I got a pretty good laugh out of apparently I guess it's a 99-cent type of store that is called Cheapo Depot. That gave me a good chuckle. But yeah, I got through town and ended up on nothing but 2-lane highways that were barely wide enough to fit my truck. The right side of my, watching my mirrors, I could see that the right side of my trailer was just about on the white line, the fog line on the right side of the lane, and there's no shoulder on these roads either. And while my right side of my trailer is pretty much on the white line, I can look over on the left, and left side of my trailer is just about on the yellow line. It's surprising just how discomforting it can be driving a big truck on a road like this versus in a car. The average car is probably only 6-7 feet wide. A truck is 8.5 feet wide, and that doesn't even include the mirrors. Your standard interstate lanes are 12 feet wide. Major roads are also 12 feet, but a lot of others are only 10 feet. And these roads here, I'm not even sure they were 10 feet, to be honest with you. Every time I had cars coming the opposite direction, I was really concerned about making sure I had good lane control, staying right in the middle of my lane. If I go just a little bit to the right, my outer trailer tires were going to end up off the pavement into the grass, which any number of problems can happen if you do that. The trailer could slip off into the grass completely and drag you in with it. The results can be pretty ugly. There's one point in the video that you're going to see too where not only I had this to deal with, but I had a right curve on was it State Highway 90? Yeah. On this curve, it was open to not encounter any trucks anywhere, but it just so happens on this right curve, what do you know? I come across another truck coming the opposite direction. That's a little unsettling. Even when I'm on an interstate, the 12-foot wide lanes, I still have concerns when I go by other trucks with respect to my mirror and their mirror. I want to make sure they never come in contact with each other. So even if I'm not necessarily looking at them, it's always one of these things that I'm always conscious of anytime I'm around another truck on the roads. Doesn't matter how wide or narrow the lane is. But now you have two trucks encountering each other on a curve with lanes that are only at most 10 feet wide. High risk of our mirrors smacking into each other. Just had to do what we could. Thankfully, I didn't have any incidents there. I'm sure my tires ended up slightly off the road, but my focus had to be on the other guy's mirror and my mirror, and making sure I had the right spacing there to work with, so we wouldn't hook up. Let's see, just past Grove, just on the east side of Grove. Going back to that. Another thing that caught my attention there is I'm a retired Air Force vet. Over by the airport, across the street from the airport there, I came across an F4 fighter jet. I never worked on fighter jets myself, but I was an aircraft mechanic. I always worked on heavies. I do have several friends I served with who did work on F4s though, and I've always had a soft spot for the F4 myself regardless, even if I never worked on fighters. I let some of my friends know about this F4, and I ended up finding out that this aircraft just got put there on display in February of this year. I guess it just got sent there from Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. So that was an interesting finding. I'd like to know more about the history of that jet, but whatever. It was a cool thing to see though. Nice little town there as well. I get all the way down to the other end of that road, which I think Highway 10 goes, you take Highway 10 across through Grove from US 59, and then I think runs into Highway 25 or something. Yeah, 25, I want to say. We get to the far end of 25, where it meets up with Highway 43, or something else. A couple of other things interesting I saw there. What was this place called? This gas station called the Filling Station. Just regular run-of-the-mill service station, basically a convenience store. But I noticed there was a caboose there that caught my attention, with like one of those train semaphore signals, whatever, on display there too. It was like, hey, that's pretty cool. It's just not one of the things you see every day. Certainly not your typical shipper or receiver, or the routes to any of them. So those experiences that I saw there, they made this particular pickup interesting and worth talking about to me. I could have done without the nerves dealing with these narrow roads. And I'm a very confident person. I have good lane control. I have great awareness of details and all that. But still, you never know when you're in a truck what you're gonna deal with on these kind of roads. Now, 2-lane roads always concern me as it is, because you never know when some four-wheeler is gonna, or someone else is gonna lose control of their vehicle and go smashing into you or something, or someone tries to pass somebody else and end up right in front of you. This is what truckers have to deal with all the time on 2-lane roads. Or we deal with other people passing us stupidly and getting themselves and us caught up in an accident and people killed for doing that kind of stuff because they don't want to be behind us. Thankfully, the traffic behind me was mostly non-existent on these 2-lane roads, but still had other vehicles to deal with. And you might not realize it, but when you're in a truck, sometimes you get these little ruts in the road. When you're in a car, you probably don't realize it. They don't really affect you so much. I mean, you can just, as long as you have your 2 hands on the wheel, you're going down the road, even if there's ruts. Generally, a car is not going to be so reactive to the ruts. It might try to pull you a little bit, but you might be surprised to know that a truck is actually more susceptible to being pulled in one direction or another by any little ruts on the road than what experiences I have with a car. That might be because car tires tend to be thinner. They there's not so much road surface for them to come in contact with and have those kind of problems with. I don't really know the science behind that, but I'm guessing that's what it is. Let's see. Yeah. So 2-lane roads, narrow. This is what really just made it a little more challenge, or not challenge, but an uncomfortable experience. But getting to see the other stuff like the F4, the caboose, and then later on when after I got through picking up my load and going right back through the same area, I ended up realizing the yard right next to where all the caboose is, there's actually there were several bison sitting in that yard just lounging around. I used to live in San Jacinto, California, and I've seen bison around there. Someone in Hemet named Larry Miner. If you guys are NHRA fans, you're probably familiar with his name. He owns a big, huge lot in Hemet. He also has bison there on his property that sometimes even get out into the neighboring properties or neighborhood there near what you call Park Hill. There are some other places there in that whole Hemet, San Jacinto area too, where I've seen bison. So it's not like I've never seen them before, but your run-of-the-mill person is not going to come across a bison just anywhere. And it's kind of cool when I come across a place where you actually see them. So if you ever get a chance, go out there, preferably in a car or on a motorcycle or something, but check out the area. It's at least interesting, worth just checking out. May not need to spend much time there, but it's just something to do and something different to see. Noel, I didn't see too much there. It was a small town, I guess, or maybe I only saw part of it, but right there in the corner, you're gonna see where I make the left turn to go down the road, where the two facilities are. They have a drop lot to the right that I bypassed the first time, and then you see me making another left, or a couple left turns to get into their main plant to initially check in, and then find out I need to go drop my trailer in the other yard that I had already passed. But just before where the drop yard is, right at the corner of what's that, State Route 90 and State Route 59 or something like that, there's a river or stream or like some lake, or I don't know what the heck it was, but there was quite a few people there, and plus this was a Memorial Day holiday. Looked like a pretty happening place, and it was a nice warm day in the 90s or so. I wouldn't have minded jumping in that water myself. I know they had I think rafting and some other kind of water recreation stuff going on there, but I think most people were just swimming or fishing or whatever. Anyway, check the place out if you ever get a chance to. It's not too far west of Interstate 49 also, if you're coming from the east. So maybe if you're coming from Joplin or Rogers, Arkansas area, you might, it's in between Rogers and Joplin, and a little bit to the west of the interstate. I'd have to guess maybe 15 miles, 15, 20 miles. I don't even know. I didn't come from that direction, but looking at the map, it's what it looks like it might be. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Just I'm going to try to add in some maps to show you about where it was. I mean, where it's actually at. I'll also try to put up another map view of where my dash cam footage picks up and where you're actually seeing on that map. And then I'll transition into the dash cam footage of me driving down the road. I say I'm new to the video editing and vlogging, so just bear with me. Let me know what you think. Give me any kind of inputs you might have on how I can improve on this and make this a more enjoyable viewing experience for you. Or if you have anything you want me to share, or cover or whatever, I'll see what I can do with that. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing your comments.